Good morning and welcome to the Mike Show for Sunday, May 17, 2026. Oh, excuse me. Uh, 50 degrees at 7:56 a.m. and I am your host, Bob Kamal, and I'm a sinner. I'm powerless and my life is unmanageable. Humility and gratitude are the keys to life. It's always today, it's always now. My life is not my own. My will not be done. There's no reality but God, and the only thing we have to do is die. So, how are we going to live today? And I hope and pray that I can live from my heart a life based on faith and not fear. Oh boy, another night with very little sleep. I mean, I went through a phase for how many years where no matter what, my sleep was... I got sleep, but it was restless. Then I had a little brief period here not long ago where I actually felt like I might have slept. And now I'm back into a period of not getting much sleep, and it's not restless. But hey, it's warm, it's spring, and yesterday was the first day, probably since September, that the furnace did not run. And that's a long time. When we moved into this home, Mischief Rascal Stewart and I, back in 2021 in April was a lot sunnier. I mean, I'm not saying there's not weather change. I'm not into the whole doom and gloom global warming bullshit like the doom goblin was preaching and all them other ones. But yeah, there's weather patterns are changing, and they do, and there's no doubt about that. And I've noticed that over the years. And why I bring that up, they're having their morning treat, is that when we moved into this home, like I said, Mischief Rascal Stewart and I think the official day was April 4th, 2001. The sun would come out like it is now, heat up this sun porch to 80, 85 degrees, and I would open that sliding door there, and that would be heat enough to heat the rest of the house. We for years, we quit using the furnace in April, and as time went on, I started noticing that we were using the furnace into May. And in the last couple of years, 2 for sure, maybe even longer than that, we've had days where we ran it in June. So anyway, yesterday was the first time since whatever day in September we started using the furnace last year that we haven't had to have the furnace on. And I love it. It's finally warmed up, and this is the time I wish for, love the best. There goes neighbor / cousin John. When the buds are finally starting to turn into leaves, because the little red buds have been on them trees since March, and we'll get a day here and there where they'd warm up and come out a little bit, the leaves, and then 40-degree weather and no sunshine, and there it is. But when the leaves aren't quite fully formed, say like the end of this coming week, I wish it could be like that forever. Warm weather, 65, 70 degrees, although yesterday it hit a high of 82, which was a bit unseasonal, and I'm not complaining. But yeah, that's just perfect, So I'll throw that into my idea of heaven would be. Late May, everything green, growing, and alive, but not quite there. Sitting around a fire in the backyard at dusk with all my loves and listening to the sounds of cardinals and the smell of lilacs in the air. That's my idea of heaven. So anyway, yesterday's thumbnail was a shot of my ugly mug. I was to the 8 billion of you who did not tune in, I talked about Little Guy, a cat I tried to rescue and help and didn't work out so good. And I had pictures of him, and I searched and I tried to find one to use for a thumbnail, and I could not. And I think they're on my previous computer that I have now, the one we got before we got this one 2 years ago. It'll be 2 years this summer. And I think I lost them. Because I looked everywhere, and the dates, and I think they were Smart Picture phones, but I'm not positive. And I used to, when I'd upload the video, upload whatever digital photos I took with the phone that day too and put them in the same folder. So I don't know where they are, or maybe I just got to refine my search and just look for photos on those days. But anyway, and I think I did take some SLR, digital SLR photos as well. I didn't just use a smartphone. But anyway, so yeah, yesterday's thumbnail was my ugly mug, and with that, we're going to take a little break. Welcome back, and I don't really mean that, and I didn't mean it when I said good morning either. So yesterday, again, to the 8 billion of you who are not tuned in, I took a little road trip. I went to go see Cousin Paul, and after we grouped and got everything done we needed to do here, stopped and dropped off some recyclables. First we got gas in the truck, and then stopped and dropped recyclables at the bins at the township hall north of town, and then proceeded north on US 23 to Rogers City. And normally we'd turn left at M68 and head over to where Paul lives, but that road was closed, and I'd forgotten about the flooding, this spring, and it took out a bridge on M68. So that bridge has not been rebuilt, so I had to take a detour, and the detour kept taking me farther north, and I'm driving, and I'm like 10 miles north of Rogers City, and I'm trying to think, what road cuts over to get back onto 68 beyond where the bridge is out? And I'm thinking, shit, am I going to have to go all the way to Sheboygan? But it was probably 10 to 12 miles north of Rogers City, got on Akiak Road, and that took me to 68. And I took M68 to Melanson, where Paul lives, and had a nice visit. And had some things I wanted to take him. We did some plinking, traded some things, some heirlooms from our grandfather. We both made out real good on that. And I just had an awesome time visiting with him, doing some plinking, trying out one of my new firearms. To the 8 billion of you who do not tune in on a regular basis, I got my first AR-15. And it was good. It was nice to shoot it. Had some issues. I think it was the ammo. And it was a learning thing. I'd shot an AR before last year with a guy I met out at the range, and he let me practice with his a couple rounds. And but anyway, I stopped on the way there after I got onto M68. Well, let me back up. While driving, I left here, it was raining, and it rained pretty hard, and I knew that, but the conjurer said it was going to clear up, and where Paul lived, he said there was no rain and none in the forecast. It was already sunny there. But as I got driving along and farther north, about halfway to Rogers City, the sky started clearing. The sun was out, and it was still partly cloudy until the remnants of the storm front moved through. But everything, when the sun would light up the fields and seeing everything green and these leaves like that, or even more formed than those, it was just awesome. It was such a good feeling, and I felt so good and so alive, It was just awesome. Saw a couple deer, saw 2 bald eagles yesterday, one on the way there and one on the way home, or were they both on the way home? But, I had to stop and water my lily, so I pulled into a gas station, an On-A-Way convenience store, whatever. And I when I go into those places, I try to buy something. I don't like just going in and using the facilities and walking out and not buying anything. So I was indulging myself. I try to eat healthy and try to stay away from ultra processed and junk food and all that. And so I'm looking around for something to buy. I actually wanted to find some kind of sandwich and no luck there, but they had this big, huge marshmallow oatmeal Little Debbie cookie there, double decker. And I bought that, and oh, it was tasty. I gotta admit, that garbage food, some of it is tasty, but I was stunned because it was like $2 and it wasn't all that long ago. Like, you could buy an 8-pack of them, not that size, but you could get an 8 or 10-pack of them for 99 cents. That's how much inflation's, and I'm talking probably 5-6 years ago. And anyway, so yeah, I went to Paul's, we did our thing. And I'd ask him if he wanted to go to lunch, and he said, no, I got work to do now. I figured he had a free day, but no, he's a busy boy, and he had a lot of work going on. And it talked about going to Burger King. Our Burger King here closed like 3 years ago, I think. And again, I don't eat a lot of fast food. And the year our Burger King closed, I got 2 Whoppers on the 2 days before it finally closed down. And on my way back here, I stopped at the Burger King there and picked up 2 Whoppers, which I was stunned. $12.30 for 2 Whoppers. And I drove about, I don't know how long, 40 miles or so, to a roadside stop on M33 and pulled in there and ate my Whoppers. And it was funny because right after I got back on the road, I got a call from Paul. And he said, well, how are the Whoppers? And I said, I literally just finished eating them. And we had a laugh, and he talked, and he talked all the way back to Alpena. I stopped and got the truck washed. And no, it was a good day. It was a good day for a drive, good day to do everything, be outside and all that. So with that, we're going to take another little break. And after a flurry of activity, we are back. Koki's cleaning up that plate. Gracie's looking out the window. I don't know where Ruthie went. Gracie! Gracie! Ruthie! Oh, boy. So anyway, we've had a shave, a partial costume change. I just finished a lightweight workout. Oh, boy, did some accounting. And I'm ready to throw the old partial plates in, put on my shoes, and head out for about a 7-mile ride. Where you going, Gracie? Gracie! I'm heading out for a ride, and then I'm going to get some Kogel Viennas. I'm going to make some of my famous hot dogs. Paul had mentioned them, and I'm like, I haven't had them in ages. I put them in a pan of water, a little bit of water, and boil them till they're hot and the water boils out of the pan. And then let them brown in the pan. And then I get these really good high fiber tortillas, whack up some onions, jalapeno, and I got Coleman's dry mustard. I'll mix some of that up and put that on them, and that's going to be my meals for today. They will be ever so good. And we're going to work some, play some, think some, read some, learn some, doing little nothing, blah, 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 like Robert Fulghum said in his poem, Everything I Needed to Know About Life I Learned in Kindergarten, or similar to that, I don't know. Anyway. Oh, babas. Yeah, it looks to be another beautiful, beautiful actual spring day. Look at that beautiful girl. And of course, we're going to hang out with these loves. Yes, we are. Oh, look at, 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 oh, look at. They're seeing birds flying by and they're just going wild. And there's all kinds of insects and flies flying around. And we'll let a few of those flies in here and they have a good time hunting them down and eating them. So anyway, from the cold gray ashes and coals of my cold black heart, my broken, beaten, battered, bruised, bloody, burdened, empty, hollow, cracked, shattered, hopeless, forsaken, forlorn, bitter, angry, tired, resentful, twisted, convoluted, confused, grieving, happy, and grateful soul. Piss off. Happy Sunday, and thanks for not tuning in.